when you have that's going to push you forward, it's just that you have to find the right.
Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. It includes stigma topics like sex, addictions, mental illness, adult dialogue, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. With the beautiful, amazing, brilliant Vianka Cotton, also known as Fit Savvy, and she is a group fitness instructor as well as a blogger in the online space. And we're talking all things consistency. So Vianka, I would love for you to share a little bit about to the women inside the summit.
Hi, everyone. My name's Vianka, like Sam said, aka the Fit Savvy Coach. I've been in the group fitness world for about over a year now, and I've been a blogger. Actually, I'm a writer by trade, but I like to blog because it helps me become a better writer. And I blog about fitness, insecurities, confidence. I try to blog about anything that is goal oriented. Everyone has goals, and sometimes, in the fitness world, everyone wants to be this body type, or they have this body goal they have, but they have a hard time reaching this goal. So I really try to dive in deep to see what's preventing people from reaching their goals. And oftentimes it's not just diet and exercise. It's how people feel about themselves, how they've been treated through their whole life. It's so many different layers. And I've been blogging actually longer than I've been in the fitness world, which is interesting. I started blogging just about millennial stuff. I closed that blog, and then I decided to blog about fitness. So that's kind of my journey. And I've been a basketball coach, but fitness just was one of those things that came out of nowhere. It wasn't a path that I was on. It's just something that came across, and I took that path, and then it opened up another world of possibilities.
Why do you believe it's important for women to build their confidence?
I would go a step beyond important. It is crucial. Like your confidence, your self-esteem, it makes you who you are. I always believe that every day women should be building their confidence, because as you're a little girl, you're grown up in society where girls aren't treated the same as boys. Like inherently, it's like something is wrong with us inherently, where we're too small, too big, too loud, too quiet, too this. There's always so much criticism for young girls, our bodies, our health, our mind. And sometimes we can be ostracized for not looking a certain way. And when we grow up, we carry that self-esteem, that trauma. We carry it with us when we're picking relationships, right? We carry that when we're trying to find a job. We carry that when we're trying to find a school, a higher education school to go to, or we want to do career building stuff and self-building stuff. Having low confidence prevents us from being the best version of ourselves, and it keeps us locked in, it keeps us shrunk. When we work on our confidence, we can start healing our bodies. We can really go deep inside, heal ourselves, and then we can open ourselves to abundance and more opportunities. And you keep building that confidence, because in some areas you might be confident, some areas you might not be confident. And it's very important to work and build on every single area, and especially deep within, because you don't want to get to the point where you have a surface level confidence, where your confidence only runs skin deep. And then when you go somewhere or do something new, you don't think you're good enough. You don't think you're worthy because you never did the work to build it from the inside out. And then you have self-imposter syndrome. So I think it's important. I work on my confidence every single day. And I think it's really, really crucial for women to do something that's going to make them confident at least like once a week. And it can be girly stuff. It can be makeup. It can be hair. It can be stuff, but that can't be the only step.
And I love that you said having low confidence keeps you from being your best self. And that's exactly what it is. So what is the most confident thing that you've ever done?
There's a couple of things. I think my first confidence builder that I've done, I think it was a couple of years ago. I was 26, so I was an adult, and I learned how to swim. So from my background, my dad could swim, my brother could swim and stuff like that. But the way that I was taught to swim firsthand, it was a traumatizing experience. I built all this fear, and I never could swim, right? I think there was a time when it was 2017, I wrote down all my goals, and I said, I want to attack fear. That was one of the goals. And right when I thought about fear, I thought about the first thing I was scared of, which was the water. I was so scared of the water. Like I'm talking about trembling, nervous, and scared. So I went to the YMCA. I couldn't find a swim coach because they only had children classes at the time. So I went to another gym and they had adult swim lessons. I met this woman and she really taught me the fundamentals of swimming. And about a year later, I swam my first lap and I swam my first 2 laps, you know. After that moment, I started thinking about anything else I was afraid of. So I thought about, as a child, I had so much anxiety as a child, like really, really high anxiety. All the activities that kids were learning how to do, I didn't do them because I was so scared. I'm talking about biking, swimming, skating. And I learned how to bike even when I was like 15, 16. It took me a long time. I'm learning how to do activities that I should have done as a child. I'm learning how to do them now because I was so scared. And learning how to do them is creating self-esteem in myself. So when I conquered swimming, it boosted up my confidence. It made me feel better. Then when I started roller skating, it boosted up my confidence because I can build upon what I've learned, and it makes me like, okay, I trust myself. So confidence is all about trusting yourself. So that's probably the most confident thing I've ever done, just because I had so much fear behind me.
Thank you so much for sharing. That is an incredible story. And I love that each expert in this summit has a different story about like what was the most confident thing that they've ever done. So thank you so much for sharing. And I would love to go back into like the group fitness that you do. So how can having an accountability partner make a difference being consistent?
I was really thinking about this question and talking about my growth. I think everyone has a different partner that they need. Sometimes I feel like accountability partners are great, especially if that's what you need. But you have to determine, is that what's really going to push you in the fitness world, and it's going to push you to be healthier. For me personally, I found that I needed a mentor. I needed a coach. I needed someone who was stronger than me that was going to hold me accountable. Because sometimes when we think about accountability partner, we think about our best friends, our friends. But sometimes your best friends are not on the same journey as you. Or it could be like not adversarial, but it could be like a situation where your both of y'all's energy determines what y'all do. You kind of, when you're looking for an accountability partner, you kind of want someone that's a couple notches ahead. So if you're falling, they can pull you up, because those people, they're gonna have their down days, but their down days are probably your best day. So they're gonna keep you motivated. And I always like, when I was I row as a fitness instructor. I didn't know how to row when I first got there, I'm not gonna lie, but I needed 3 different types of coaches to help me build my rapport, my stroke, how to be an effective coach, how to be a better coach, how to build the perfect playlist. I had 3 master coaches in my gym and in the fitness world help me get to that level. And they definitely keep me accountable. When you have someone who's a mentor, a coach, a trainer, or someone who's really like, even someone who just loves going to the gym, when you have that's going to push you forward, it's just that you have to find the right accountability coach. Like, you have to find someone that you admire, someone that you respect. Those are 2 big words that you need to have when you're looking for one. And a lot of people, you can do it on your own, but I find when you don't have that accountability coach, you can't grow. You'll like start your fitness journey and then you'll be looking up, and then you'll kind of burn out. So that community of accountability coaches is very, very important.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And it is hard for people to do it by themselves when they don't have like an accountability partner, coach to keep them, on track. And you do it by yourself, you might have your cell phone because we're in the digital age now, but it's so hard to keep yourself like dedicated to like whatever you want to stay consistent, whether it's a fitness routine or in your nutrition or just like reaching towards like a separate goal within your self-development. And it's really hard to do it by yourself.
Yeah, it is very difficult to do anything by yourself. That's so true.
And so what kind of advice or encouragement would you give to someone struggling to stay consistent right now?
If you're struggling to stay consistent, I always tell people to, sorry, there's a yellow jacket behind me. I always tell people to take a small break, and you need to reassess some things. You need to really go to what we talk about, row house. We talk about really going to your why, right? You need to reconnect yourself to your purpose, your intention, and why. Sometimes when we first start something, our why is different than when we continue doing it. And it's very, very important to define that why and make it clear. Why are you working out, right? Why are you in the fitness? Why do you commit to a healthy lifestyle? Why do you do this? And then after that, you find your secondary whys. And I always tell people there's superficial whys, there's deep whys. Like, your superficial why why could be, I want to fit into this dress, right? I want to lose weight for my wedding. I want to get healthy to look good in this before a reunion. Those whys are not going to take you deeper and further in your health and fitness journey. Those whys, if you don't get your size and your dress by this time, you're gonna get a setback, because that feeds into your self-esteem. You're gonna be, oh, I didn't make it. You need to have something that's deeper. You need to root yourself in something that's solid, that foundational stuff. So the reason why I wanted to get healthy is because I was feeling sick. My body was like decaying, and that was my biggest why. And once you get that why, then you'll know exactly what to do, and you can start doing a to-do list, a checklist. You can start making small goals. Like your first goal could be like, I want to exercise twice a week. I want to do cardio twice a week. And then another thing I was going to tell you guys is that instead of just thinking of fitness and staying consistent as an exercise, a chore, I'm really a proponent of finding something that you like to do as an activity. Once you find an activity that you love to do, it's going to be so easy to work out. Then you can have where you're training, and then you can have your activity. The activity could be like dance, skating, swimming, playing volleyball, bowling, something that's hiking, drawing is even activity because it stimulates and healthies your mind. So once you find an activity and you get into that flow of working out and doing stuff and stuff like that, then you can start doing your goals and stuff like that. And it's going to be easier for you to stick with it because you've already built that rapport of moving your body.
100%. I think it's vital to find like your why, because if you only get to that superficial level, they're not going to have that dedication, that passion to really drive them to do it. And then also finding things that they like to do, because I know some people, they love hiking, but they hate like all other kinds of exercising. So they find a way to do hiking, like even during the winter months here up in Canada or whatever it is, and just finding like that one thing that they really, really enjoy. And then it reframes how they think about exercising. So I love that you touched. And so how can women build their confidence by like creating a plan to stay consistent in their life, like once they find that deep rooted why?
Okay, so for me, I'm relating everything about me because I'm trying to figure out how I did it. Before I was 26, I did it the opposite way. I did it the superficial way. I think, like I said, it depends on your why and your goals. But for me personally, I think everyone in the world needs some type of therapist, some type of counseling, someone they can depend on, whether it's Ricky, a licensed counselor, a therapist, shaman. I mean, if you're a Christian, a preacher or something, you need someone that you can have that can talk to you, that's on a professional level, that can have a one-on-one support. That is that's the most crucial thing that you can do, is find either a mentor, a life coach, or a therapist. For me personally, I have a therapist and we meet once a week. She makes me more accountable myself. And once you find that therapist and stuff like that, then I would tell you that you got to go deep. I always call this the power source. It's just something that I use. It's like the core, you know what I mean? You got to go deep, deep down to what really, really scares you and your deep, deep insecurities, okay? Which can be that's why I say have a professional with you, because you don't know how many layers of insecurity that you have. Like I just remembered before I started this journey, like when I was 26, I didn't know how much insecurities I had, and I didn't know how much fear I had lodged up in those insecurities. But once I started facing those insecurities, they started to breaking up. And the reason why I got a therapist was because like I can't do this by myself. I need someone there with me to help me. And I would tell people, if you are doing it by yourself, some people are strong enough, some people can do stuff by themselves. I would say write down 5 things that you dislike about yourself, right? 5 things that are very deep. It could be your skin, your nose, the way you look. It could be you wake up in the morning with a bad attitude, or it could be something like that, right? It's 5 things. And then write down about 3 things that you're terrified of, that you're so scared of. And once you have those things, you can start developing a plan of how you can attack those things and how you can get better. For me, my 3 things I was scared of was water, the dark. I used to be very scared of the dark. And then the last thing that I was scared of was like people hating me, people not liking me, right? And when I wrote those 3 things down, I'm like, Then I say, okay, how can I get over this fear? So I did it that way. And when I faced swimming head on, that was great, right? When I faced the dark, that was fine. But when I faced the whole, I'm afraid of people that didn't like me, that tied into my 5 core beliefs that I didn't like about myself. You see how that relation came in? And that's when I was like, okay, now I need to work on those deep, deep insecurities, because these 5 things are keeping me from elevating. So once you write down those 5 disbeliefs, you're going to have to really challenge yourself to not believe that. So you write down those 5 things that you hate about yourself, and then you counteract it. So for example, I'll use me again. I used to hate my hair. So I wrote, I hate my hair. I think my hair is ugly. It makes me unattractive. So you have to flip that. I love my hair. My hair makes me beautiful. My hair makes me more attractive. And you have to really meditate on those things so you can shatter your core beliefs. This is what my therapist told me to do. Really meditate on those things and shatter those false core beliefs, and then keep saying them. And then when you start thinking them in your mind, you can say, I'm not supposed to think like that. I'm supposed to say, I love my hair. Right? No. You can't allow yourself to think that bad about yourself, because when you think bad about yourself, it's going to tie into those fears that you have. You see what I'm saying? And that can go, and then the hair belief can go, I'm not worthy, I'm unloved. And then after you get rid of that nasty darkness, all that grossness and that stuff that you feel about yourself, then you can work a plan, right? Because if you put out a plan and you don't do the back end work, or you don't do the foundation, that plan's going to crumble. And I've done that so many times. I've had a plan and just crumbled because I didn't know that I had so much healing to do in my life. And I didn't know that I had so much foundational stuff that I had to work on. Now, if you're a girl or a woman who already has done that foundational stuff, that's when I would tell you to write down a priority list. To take out a priority list of everything you want to accomplish. The number 1 thing, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth thing. After you make down that list, then you're going to make a plan of what you're going to do once a week to make that goal happen, to make whatever goal happen. And then once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months. When you write it down, I think it makes it more consistent. Instead, when you write it on your phone, because sometimes you're just writing notes away. But I would say write down that stuff, your to-do list, your yearly list, your monthly list. Write it down in paper, then have it in the phone, and you can put it in your calendar. That's what I do for myself, and it keeps me on target. And then after I look at my list, I can just cross things down that I did. Some people like to do a daily list. I don't do all that. I just do a monthly, and then I might do a weekly. That's kind of how I stay consistent. Then the last thing I want to say, how to stay consistent after you write your plan, after you've done your foundational work, after you've done your weekly and priority lists, then you want to say, why am I doing this all, right? Before you were just doing it for confidence. But then after you write it all down, you're like, why am I really doing this? And then you'll see, because I want to live well. I want to live with passion. I want to live without fear. Your why is going to really get deep to the point where you're saying, like, I want to live unapologetically. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I hope it wasn't too confusing, but that's how I did my thing. And then even if you're inconsistent one day or a week or even a month, you can always go back to that plan. So don't think just because you weren't consistent that week or month or whatever year, you can't go back. It's your list, right? You can go back, you can go forward, you can change, transform, where you draft. It's your life. So that's kind of what I would tell people of how they can do it.
Yes, I love your question about, like, even if they kind of fall off the wagon and they're not as consistent, then it's like, you can still go back there, even if it's after a week, a month, like, because I've seen some people when it's like, oh, new year, new me. And like the first month, they're like, oh, I didn't do this. Okay, let's try next year. And it's like, whoa, you have 11 months left, honey. Like, you can go back and still start over and still attempt at this journey again, right?
That's true. Yeah, you can always go back. You don't have to, your body doesn't know the day count. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, this has been so beautiful. Is there anything else that you would love to add to the conversation?
The one thing I would add is that, like, one thing that really bothered me during this whole cycle of my life is that I found that when you start healing yourself and you start blossoming, you're going to meet so many people, and you're also going to, like, lose a lot of people. And it's kind of hard sometimes when you're on this journey of building your confidence and self-healing as a woman, It's sometimes you might find yourself alone. You might have slip ups, you know, you're going to have the risk outweighs the reward outweighs the risk. I'm sorry. So even if you have those bad days, you're losing people, and let's be clear, you're not losing people because they hate that you're blossoming. Sometimes you're on two different paths. So you have to respect people that leave off from your path. It's not because, you know, you had a falling out. It's just that seasons change. So I would tell people, don't take anyone's drop off in support or anything like that. Don't take it personally. And the last thing I want to say, this is something that I struggle with. If you don't get a lot of support of anything that you do, whatever you want to be healthier, be more fitter, you have to think of it as the support comes from yourself, and the approval, you're the approval of your life, not your parents, not your family, not your friends. You're that approval. So once you tap into your own approval, your self-assurance will rise up, and then you'll start attracting people like, you know, I met you before this. You start attracting people that are on your same bandwidth, and then more opportunities will flow. Like my sister will say, she says, quality always over quantity. You're going to meet quality people who share those same goals, and it's going to be like you met them like 20, 30 years ago. So that's kind of like my last like little tidbit that I would say.
Oh my God, you only need permission from yourself. So many women need this reminder. So thank you for that. And seriously, this conversation has been so beautiful. So thank you, Vianka. Like, I love you. I appreciate you so much for being a part of the summit and sharing your expertise, your golden nuggets with everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Samantha, for having me. And thank you all the women that are watching this. And this summit is powerful. And I'm really, really glad I've been here.